Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
The New York Jets have extended Garrett Wilson. Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Monday, July 14th. This is episode 569 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you, as always, for joining me. For those tuning in on YouTube, make sure to please like and subscribe. Of course, appreciate all of those tuning in on all the different audio podcast platforms. And 8 days away from the New York Jets reporting to training camp, we've got breaking New York Jets news here on a Monday in July as the New York Jets have extended Garrett Wilson. You've got to be fired up if you're a New York Jet fan, as him and Sauce were the two we've obviously talked a ton about getting extensions. It was only a matter of when, and that time has come. So we are breaking it all down here today on the podcast. I'll start off with this. This is a very good job by Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn keeping a guy of their own, keeping a legitimate blue chip franchise cornerstone piece on this team under contract now for the next 6 seasons. Locking up one of your own is so important, especially for a new regime. Garrett Wilson is a massive part of the future and, more importantly, this regime's success. Now, in terms of the contract details here for Garrett Wilson, it is a 4-year deal, $130 million. That is $32.5 million per year and $90 million in guarantees. Some other numbers that I want to give you here as we break down the contract. It is the first time in NFL history that a wide receiver received an average per year value over $31 million after just 3 seasons in the league. As I mentioned just shortly ago, he is now under contract for the next 6 seasons. That takes you up until the 2030 season. So he is here for a very long time, a Jet for life. $32.5 million per year puts him at the 5th highest wide receiver per year rate in the NFL. He's only behind Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and DK Metcalf, and he's just ahead of A.J. Brown at $32 million to put him in perspective there of where he stands amongst the NFL. And I think this is one of the most important ones of it all. He is the first Jets first-round pick to be extended after his 3rd season. That is just, I think, really encapsulates what this deal is and how important it is for this franchise to finally keep one of their own. And they've now done this the last couple of years, right? Last year extending Michael Carter, this year with Garrett, right? A little bit prior to that, Quinnen Williams. But for so many years, this was a team that just let young guys go, young players not being here in the long term, traded away, however it all played out. But when you get a player like Garrett Wilson's caliber, both on the field and off the field, an extension was a must. And I think something so important here is they got it done. This was not something that you wanted to last into the season, to last into next offseason, because the value, the contract would only go up. Good franchises, well-run franchises get ahead on these things. They get these deals done. And that's what the New York Jets did today, right? The cap is only going to go up. There is plenty of other receivers out there that are going to get extended and eventually make more than Garrett. Getting ahead of this and getting this deal done now is so important on so many levels. And most importantly, it's well-deserved. And I think now you expect Sauce Gardner here up next. Potentially both of these get done this week here before training camp begins next week and the season really begins to take off. But look, the Garrett Wilson side of it, he's a leader. He's an awesome human being, both on the field in that locker room, but also off the field. He just loves this game. He's a player that you want to be on your team, want to have around for a very long time. Somebody that you build around. He is one of arguably the face of the franchise when it comes to this New York Jets team right now. And I think what's so important too is, right, he's locked up until 2030. These are the prime years. These are his best seasons. You're going to have him under contract now, age 25 season, which comes up this year. His birthday is actually next week, so a nice early birthday present for Garrett Wilson here with this $130 million extension. But you get him for the age 25 season, age 26, age 27, age 28, age 29, and then age 30. This is the prime of his career. This is his peak. This is already has shown himself as one of the more talented receivers in this franchise history. And I think there's a real chance Garrett Wilson ends his career as arguably the best Jets receiver in franchise history. And hopefully one day, a guy that gets his name, he's on that trajectory of putting himself in the Jets Ring of Honor and being one of the franchise's greats, because he's already shown himself on that trajectory here in these first 3 seasons of his career. And it's crazy what Garrett Wilson has been able to do in the first 3 years of his career, even with everything that has gone on around him, right? All of the moving pieces, most notably at quarterback. He has caught passes from 7 different quarterbacks in 3 years, and yet he has played in all 51 possible games and has put up 1,000 yards every season, has remained consistent in all areas of his game, and also got to mention not just quarterbacks, but the offensive coordinator and play caller changes that he has gone through, right? Year 1 was with Mike LaFleur. Year 2 was Nathaniel Hackett. And last year was partially Nathaniel Hackett. And then, of course, Todd Downing took over play calling duties. I think that's another important part. None of the coordinators really focused the offense around Garrett Wilson. The fact that he's played with multiple through his first 3 years is something else to put into this equation. And he's through all of that and the quarterback woes, everything, right? He has shown up week in and week out, year in and year out, and has been awesome for this team. And now you hope you have an offensive coordinator in Tanner Engstrand, who has said it many times already, has said something that none of the other coordinators seem to ever even try and do through his first 3 years. This is an offense that's going to focus around Garrett Wilson, and that's truly where you feel his best years are still ahead of him by a very wide margin, right? Hasn't had that 1,300, 1,400 big-time season, but you feel like that's coming up with the right coaching and hopefully a solution here at quarterback. Whether or not Fields is the long-term answer or not, from just the team perspective, having a number 1 wide receiver set in stone for the next 6 years is so massive. If Fields is the guy, great. If it's not, whoever you take next year, Garrett's there, locked in, long-term. This is great. You've got to be fired up if you're a New York Jet fan. You look at his numbers last year, and we'll break some of these down now. 101 receptions, of course, played all 17. 1,104 yards. 10.9 yards per reception. 7 touchdowns. Was tied for 7th in receptions, 14th in yards. You look at his career numbers. 51 games played. Has hauled in 279 receptions for 3,249 yards. 11.6 yards per reception, and 14 touchdowns. All right, we mentioned the 7 different quarterbacks. Everything around him that he has had to deal with and has yet consistently produced at an extremely high level. Here's some other numbers. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons is the first since George Sawyer in Jets history and since 1966 and 1968 when he did that. So the first time a Jet has had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons since the 60s. He's also the first Jets player in franchise history, the only one to record 3 1,000-yard seasons in their first 3 years in the league. He has done that. 1,103 yards in 2022, 1,042 in 2023, and then 1,100 yards again, 1,104 in 2024. 3 straight there. First Jet to do that in his first 3 seasons. He's also just the 5th player in NFL history to record at least 1,000 yards and 80 or more receptions in each of his first 3 years in the league. What he has done is phenomenal. What he will continue to do is only going to get better. He is just in the early stages of his prime. The Jets have him locked up now for his entire prime. They get this done at the right time. They get ahead of it, which is good business and smart by Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. Not something the Jets typically do. Garrett Wilson, well-deserved, blue chip cornerstone piece, one of the faces of this franchise. On the field, off the field, great leader. Everything that he does, he earned every penny of this. Well-deserved. And again, if you're a Jet fan, let's freaking go. Garrett Wilson is here to stay. Let's go. Jet fans, we kind of needed this, right? The offseason, it's been, fan base is very on this season coming up. Getting an extension like this definitely boosts, the vibes, the excitement. It's great to keep one of your own elite players. And I'd assume now Sauce is next. I would not be surprised if this is something that gets done within the coming days before the Jets report to camp 8 days from now on July 22nd is the report date. So that is a week from tomorrow. We will stay tuned for a Sauce Gardner extension. But for now, we fired up about the Garrett Wilson extension. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Your thoughts on the New York Jets extending Garrett Wilson. Let's go. Under contract next 6 seasons. Jets lock up their wide receiver 1. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Appreciate you all tuning in here on a breaking news episode here in July. Appreciate you all. Until next time, Jets, 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 Jets.